You might have experienced that sinking feeling when someone asks you a question when you weren't expecting it, and then your mind goes blank. It has happened to me before. I literally saw white. Your heart races and your voice falters. Today, we're going to turn that fear on its head by learning how to think fast and speak smart, confidently and clearly, even when you do not have a prepared answer. Believe me, this is gold. Today, we're going to be treating think fast, speak smart. One of the greatest challenges speakers face is thinking on their feet, whether in meetings, interviews, or social conversations. You might have experienced that sinking feeling when someone asks you a question when you weren't expecting it, and then your mind goes blank. It has happened to me before. I literally saw white. Your heart races and your voice falters. Today, we're going to turn that fear on its head by learning how to think fast and speak smart, confidently and clearly, even when you do not have a prepared answer. Believe me, this is gold. Why does thinking fast matter actually? Research shows that the human brain processes auditory information in about 200 milliseconds, meaning you have mere moments to formulate a response if you want to sound natural and confident. But here's the good news. Being fast doesn't mean being rushed or being shallow. In fact, effective impromptu speaking relies on simple structures and mental frameworks to organize your thoughts quickly. Okay? As Harvard Business Review highlights, speakers who use quick mental models deliver responses that are 60% more coherent and 40% more persuasive than those who stumble. Just rely on the mental models and we'll make it as easy as possible for you. Now, what are these simple structures for fast thinking? Let's look at 3 easy frameworks that you can use in any situation. Number 1, PREP. P-R-E-P. P stands for point, R stands for reason, E stands for example, and P stands for point. So if you have that structure in mind, it will help you to always remember or to be aligned with regards to what you want to say. So P-R-E-P, point, reason, example, point. Make your point. Explain why. Give a brief example and repeat your point. Simple. Example. I believe remote working boosts productivity because it reduces commute stress. For instance, my team reported a 20% increase in output last quarter, so remote work clearly benefits performance. You see that? Point, reason, example, point. Brilliant. Succinct, natural, confident, and you can save time when the question is asked unexpectedly. Now, mental framework number 2. What? So what? Now what? Okay? State the fact or idea, that is the what. Explain why it matters, that is the so what. Suggest next steps or implementation or action points, now what. Think of it as what the problem is, why the problem is important, what the solution should be. Okay? Mental framework number 3, the 3-point rule. Share 3 brief points or reasons. This keeps your answer structured and easy to follow. I always talk about the 3-point system. It's good to always reduce everything to 3 points. I think many times human beings remember 3 points, 3 ways, 3 reasons. So whenever you're asked to speak unexpectedly, the best 3 things that come to mind should be the things you talk about. Okay? Any of these mental models can work for you depending on what the topic is, what the context is, and your natural disposition to speaking. You can practice all 3 of them. Let's give an example. Now, imagine you're in a meeting and your boss suddenly asks the question, What do you think about the new marketing strategy? Paul, what do you think about the new marketing strategy? Sharon, what do you think about the new marketing strategy? And like, oh my goodness, everyone's looking at you and expecting a profound, prolific, highly intelligent response. If you don't have much data, you can still say something like this. I think the strategy has some strong elements, particularly its focus on social media engagement. This is your point. That's important because our younger demographics spend a lot of time on social media. This is your reason. For example, last campaign's Instagram reach increased by 35%. And that's an example. Overall, it seems positioned well for our target audience. Of course, this still sounds scripted, right? But you can try to take that question in your own context and arrange it in that way. Your point, your reason, your example, and your point again. You could even disagree with what I've just said, but let it follow that structure. The more you practice, answering spontaneous questions like this, the faster it is for your brain to connect the ideas that you have to the question that has been raised. Okay? Notice that this also gives you breathing room while sounding confident and informed. And there is nobody in the room who would not think that what you have just said with your mouth or uttered from your mouth is brilliant. They might not admit it, but they will think it, I assure you. Now, I want to give you some tips to stay calm and clear. Okay, are you ready? These are quick strategies to avoid freezing. Many times the natural body response is to freeze, but there are things you can do to prevent it from being obvious or from preventing it from being elongated and noticeable that you've actually frozen or you've gone blank. Number one, pause briefly. Pause briefly and intentionally. It's okay to take a breath before answering. What is most important is that your eyes don't look like you've zoned out. When you pause, let your audience know that it's a deliberate action you are taking. You are deliberately keeping quiet for a moment, okay? Number two, repeat or reframe the question. Whatever question that has been asked you, you can repeat it to clarify that you heard properly, and you can reframe it to ensure that you understand what you're asked. For example, back to the same question, what do you think about the new marketing strategy, Grace? So if I was Grace, I could say, what do I think about the new marketing strategy? Before I say what I want to say. Or I could say, the same question, right? Do you mean, what do I think about the marketing strategy? Do you want me to respond to what I think? Do you want me to respond by saying what I think about the company's marketing strategy? Or you can even add some context. This is the social media strategy, the sales strategy, the technical, whatever, the communication strategy. You can give some context. All of those things are buying you time. It's giving your brain extra time to process information to actually give the response that is required. Okay. Number three strategy to keep calm and clear and composed is speak deliberately. Please do not rush. When you are asked to speak on the spot, the slower you speak, the better. And speaking slowly doesn't necessarily mean you don't know what to say. In fact, if you learn to speak slowly, it actually shows confidence, and it actually endears your audience to lean in to listen to what you have to say, because people usually slow down when they want to emphasize something. So speak deliberately, don't rush. Slower speech helps you appear thoughtful and confident. Strategy number 4, use fillers wisely. You can say phrases like, oh, that's an interesting point. Oh, that's an exciting topic. That particular question is something that has been on my mind for the past few days. You could say anything that relates to what you've been asked and also what you're about to say. But don't overdo it, right? Just find, for example, I like saying that's interesting. That's an interesting topic. I personally like using that. You might want to adopt that as well. Just look for a phrase that can apply to almost anything and use that as your filler word or your filler phrase. But don't do it too much. Don't overdo it, okay? Remember, speaking fast isn't the goal. Thinking clearly and sounding confident is.